Within an enterprise, you can delegate and segregate roles to allow you to spread the management duties and workloads to other users. Let's take a look at how you can grant management roles within Intune. In the Microsoft 365 Device Management Portal, you'll see a whole range of Intune roles that can be allocated to users. Some of specific task-based roles, such as the Application Manager role, which you can assign to users so that they can perform these tasks. 034. You can't delete or edit the name, description, type, or permissions of a built-in role, but you can create a custom role where you can then specify what the role can do. Let's take a look at some of the built-in roles within Intune. A user who has been assigned the Policy and Profile Manager role is able to manage Intune compliance policies and configuration profiles, which are used to configure device settings. Corporate device identifiers, which indicate Intune that a device is corporate-owned. Intune will then carry out additional management tasks on these devices. Security baselines, which are an industry-recommended set of security standards and default settings for your Windows 10 devices. This role also allows a user to manage Apple device enrollment. Microsoft specifically packaged many of their products for schools, colleges, and universities. These educational products sometimes have less functionality or specialist features needed by education providers. For example, Intune for Education includes a specific admin portal that allows admins to manage school devices, and the school administrator role is used to manage an Intune for Education instance. A user assigned the help desk operator role can perform remote tasks on users and their devices. For example, they can reset a user's password. They can also assign applications and policies to users or devices. The Application Manager role is primarily used to manage mobile applications and managed applications. However, this role also grants permissions to read device information and view device configuration profiles. The read-only operator role has the most limited functionality of all of the Intune roles. It cannot be used to make any changes to the user or device settings or make any changes to any Intune settings. This role, as suggested by its name, grants read-only access to view information on users, device enrollment, device configuration, and application information. The Intune Role Administrator is used to manage roles and permissions for administrators within Intune. Using this role, you can assign permissions to administrators. In fact, it is the only Intune role that can assign permissions to administrators. You can add assignments for the built-in Intune roles and manage custom Intune roles. Let's go on to our demo tenant and review the different types of roles that we can use. In my Microsoft 365 Admin Center, I'll select Roles on the left-hand side. There are many built-in roles within Microsoft 365 that you can use instead of using the Global Administrator. On the right-hand side, I'll select Filter and then filter the roles by category. I'll select Devices, and here you can see there are admins related to devices. You can drill down into each one and review the description and permissions for these roles. If these roles are suitable, then you should assign these roles rather than assigning users the Global Administrator permission. If we now head over to the Intune portal, on the left-hand side, under Favorites, I'll select Roles. Here you can see there are Intune roles and Azure AD roles. To find more information relating to these types of roles, you should select the link. To open the documentation within Microsoft, let's return to Intune and assign a role. I'll select All Roles under Manage. And here you can see the built-in roles available. Let's select the Help Desk Operator role. I'll select Properties, and here you can see a description and the type of role. I'll select Permissions, and here you can see the detailed permissions that the role holder will have. And then click Assignments. I'll click Assign and assign this role to my IT Help Desk members. I'll provide a name and description for the assignment, and then select Members. I'll click Add. and select my IT Help Desk team group and click Select. And then click OK. We then need to define the scope for this assignment. I'll click Scopes, and then choose All Users and All Devices and click OK. And then click OK again. The role assignment has been created, and I'll return to the All Roles screen. You can also define your own custom role. I'll click Add. Provide a name, description, and then click Permissions, and here we can configure the specific permissions that I want the role holder to have. Once I'm happy, I'll click OK, and then click Create. The custom role has been created successfully, and then would assign the role as before. This time I'll restrict the scope to all devices. And click OK.